Every town has its ghosts, but Ravenshade was built on them. Nestled deep within the mist-covered valleys of Massachusetts, Ravenshade looked like a postcard of small-town perfection. Cozy houses with carved pumpkins on porches, children rehearsing trick-or-treat rhymes, and maple leaves burning gold beneath the fading sun. But under that beauty ran something older, a whisper, a breath, a shadow that stirred when October 31st drew near. For generations, people spoke of the hollow night, the one night every century when the dead would walk among the living seeking what was once theirs. Most called it folklore, but the people of Ravenshade locked their doors all the same. Our story begins on the eve of Halloween 2025, when the fog came early and the wind carried voices no one could explain. Scene 1. Arrival camera pans over a lone car winding up a dark country road. Narrator, low, eerie. Emily Carter hadn't been back to Ravenshade in 10 years. The last time she'd seen the town, she was a teenager standing over her mother's coffin. Now, a grown journalist chasing small-town stories, she returned with a notebook, a recorder, and the kind of curiosity that gets people killed in horror movies. The sign at the town's edge read, "Welcome to Ravenshade, where the spirits never sleep." She laughed at first, but laughter faded as she noticed something strange. Every house she passed had its curtains drawn, candles flickered in every window, and at every doorstep lay a small bowl of salt. The locals still believed. Scene 2. The innkeeper Emily checked into the Hollow Inn, the oldest building in town. Its wood creaked with memory, and the air smelled faintly of rain and smoke. Behind the counter stood an old woman, Martha Hale, her eyes sharp as broken glass. Martha, gruffly, "You picked the wrong night to come home." "Miss Carter," Emily, smiling nervously, "I'm just here to write about local Halloween traditions." Martha, "Traditions?" She leaned closer. "We call it survival." She slid a brass key across the counter, her hand trembling. "Room 13. Emily noticed a charm tied to the key, a small wooden cross bound with red thread. Martha, "Keep that with you tonight. And if you hear knocking after midnight, don't answer." Thunder rumbles. Lightning reveals the faint outline of old handprints on the wall. Act 2. The Curse unfolds. Scene 3. The Legend of the Hollow Night Later. Emily sat in the inn's dim dining room, sipping coffee, recording her notes. Through the dusty window, she watched the town square, a lonely place now, save for a single scarecrow at its center. Her curiosity burned. She asked Martha about the scarecrow. The innkeeper sighed and began to speak, not to Emily, but to the dark corner behind her, as if someone unseen were listening. "Martha, every 100 years, the veil between the worlds thins. On that night, those buried without peace rise to reclaim what's owed. The scarecrow marks the heart of the hollow where the curse began." Emily, "A curse? What happened?" Martha hesitated, then finally whispered, "It started with the Hollow Witch, Eleanor Vane. They burned her in 1825, said she cursed the town with her dying breath. And every century since, someone dies on Halloween, always the same way and found with a hollow heart." Emily, "You mean..." Martha, interrupting, "No blood, no wound, just gone inside. Like something reached in and took their soul." A chill rippled through the room. Somewhere outside, a bell chimed 13 times. Scene 4. The cemetery. That evening, Emily followed the cobblestone path leading to Ravenshade Cemetery, recorder in hand. Fog rolled over the graves like a living thing. Her flashlight caught names worn away by time. Vane, Carter, Hale, the same families still living in town. At the center stood a half-collapsed mausoleum. Above its arch was carved, "Eleanor Vane, burned but not broken." Inside lay only ashes and a single wooden mask, carved like a smiling woman's face. Emily knelt, tracing the cracks on the mask. Suddenly the air turned cold, her breath fogging in front of her. She heard whispers, faint, layered, desperate. "It's not over. Free me. Blood for blood." The recorder in her hand flickered on by itself. Voiced on tape, whispering, "Welcome home, Emily." Static screams. Her flashlight dies. Scene 5. The sheriff panicked. Emily ran to the sheriff's office. Sheriff Lowe, a weary man in his 50s, listened quietly as she replayed the distorted tape. When it ended, he rubbed his temples and sighed. Sheriff Lowe, I told Martha to board that mausoleum years ago. Guess she never does what she's told. Emily. Who was Eleanor Vane, really? Sheriff Lowe, she wasn't a witch, just a healer. The town turned on her when crops failed, when children got sick. They wanted someone to blame. When they hanged her, she cursed every bloodline that watched her burn. He looked up at Emily. Sheriff Lowe, and yours was one of them. Thunder cracks. Emily freezes. Scene 6. The first death by midnight, Ravenshade's streets were empty. Windows shuttered. The wind carried the smell of burning leaves and something else. Something rotten. A scream shattered the silence. Emily and Sheriff Lowe rushed toward it, finding a young man lying near the square. His eyes were open, mouth stretched in terror, but his chest was hollow, caved in like something had devoured him from within. The scarecrow now faced a different direction, toward them. Sheriff Lowe whispered, "It's starting again." Camera zooms on the scarecrow's stitched mouth slowly curling into a grin. Scene 7. The Hollow Inn. 3 a.m. Emily couldn't sleep. Rain tapped against the window like fingers. Her recorder blinked red, recording on its own again. She pressed play. Unknown voice, the heart remembers. The fire returns. Blood must answer blood. Then footsteps in the hallway, slow, heavy, wet. She opened the door and no one there, only muddy footprints leading down the corridor. To room 12 inside, the door half open, she saw Martha sitting in a chair facing the window. Emily. Martha? No answer. When she touched her shoulder, Martha's body fell forward, lifeless, her chest hollow. On the window, written in condensation. Next, Emily Carter. Thunder rolls. Cut to black. End of part 1.